Going on, CTM? I hope you are well and doing great as we get ready here to put in our Wednesday session, FOMC day. And as Ace is pointing out, most important piece likely of this meeting is what they put out for expectations into 2024. Are we going to see 2 cuts or 3 cuts? And how Powell walks the line, as well as the setup for what is the beginning of I was going to say quantitative tapering of the quantitative tighten the balance sheet runoff, likely beginning in June. Now, everyone here today, I personally think, as we're seeing the markets here, Bitcoin in correction off of the high, roughly down, 15% off of that high. 15% today, so far as low as 17%. I think everyone here has to be feeling really good about being on the right side. And that's really, really important. It's not just here on this last Bitcoin exit, right? We have put ourselves in a beautiful position here, a position of power, as across the board, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, last trade aside. When I say last trade aside, this was stopped out, but you're talking, just off kissing the sky, everything here roaring in the bliss. And the truth is, nobody knows what happens next, and you don't need to. You already have built yourself up now into a position of power. Now you got to focus on what makes an elite trader. And that is having the patience needed to wait. To wait, first of all, for your next opportunity in the markets. Your next opportunity is the next time you get a system signal. But it's not just that easy. If it were just that easy. And just let me revert back. I personally think at first, the most difficult thing there is developing that trading plan. CTM Hivemind, collective collaboration like no other, has formed an incredible edge in the markets. that puts you in the place where you could perform on the level of the best of the best of the best ever. Now it requires, once that's in place, it requires a lot of dedication and working on thyself, knowing thyself, mastering thyself, that focus, that discipline, and right now, patience. We're out of the market. By the way, out of the market is a fantastic place to be. It means that there's no edge to be in the market and you have yourself right where now some people like to rush things. There was a lot of excited behavior that was taking place just a week ago across the space. I saw people FOMOing into MicroStrategy at the top. I saw people chasing miners. I saw lots of FOMO. And you're here because you recognize signal. So you need to separate, you need to observe, and you need to separate. Right now, what's required is patience. Patience is a good thing. And that patience might not just be waiting for the next entry. The next entry, we're here on the sidelines waiting for Bitcoin here to enter the market. And assuming the momentum is still strongly to the upside, that there's a good chance that will be on the buy side. I mean, things could change because a small 18% correction could turn into a 20%, 25, 30, and then all of a sudden we have a momentum shift. But, have we seen any type of behavior that's offering any type of shift? Yesterday, we did see, by the way, that continued unloading of GBTC. And strangely enough, or not strangely enough, it's worth noting that we did not see that rotation out of GBTC into BlackRock. So that's, it's just one day. One day is not a trend. Is 2 days of outflows now a trend? Maybe, potentially, we need to keep watching what's happening as far as what is occurring. But at the same time, we have our TA, right? We got that. First of all, I mean, noting the resistance that we were above before price touched the resistance, we had the resistance level up there. It touched it twice. Beautiful double touch on our resistance level. Sell impulse CTM 1.0, sending price into correction. And here we are waiting. Do we look for maybe like what a resumption would look like? Do we just draw in like some CTM 1.0 trend line? No, I don't. We're not trading that. We're trading our system, right? So, right, obviously you all know that you'd likely need a crossover here for a resumption to occur. Is this like setting up as an underbelly? You see, probably, you know, but that's not your edge, right? Your edge is to follow the system that we have developed that helps you keep on the right side of the market, knowing when to be in the market, when out, and on what side. Right now, we're out of the market, and hopefully, maybe it's just a question of, all right, next signal gets us back into the market. Here we go again, or not. We could easily set up into a period now where we enter into some type of multi-month on at best, like running sideways. Running sideways is obviously, if you're looking here, you're looking at the blue line is the all-time account high, intratrade basis. And running sideways is taking trades and running in drawdown before you are able to make a new all-time high. And as you all know, or most of you know, most of the time is spent running sideways. Even though it looks like these P&Ls go up and to the right, and it sure looks like that if you zoom out. But most of the time it's spent you having to be a trader with discipline and fortitude working through it. Where people get themselves into the most mistakes is that they are looking for and rushing things. They want things to happen and they want it to happen on their own timeline. Our timeline is, we have a system, and that system seems to have a significant edge in the markets. I could say that a lot of people, if you look around the web, they're like, yeah, very few people are profitable. You can look within this community here, and it is fair to say that there are many profitable traders. That's absolutely just a rare gem. There's no question about it. But it's not just always easy. Most of the time we spend putting in the work. And that patience not only means waiting for the next signal to enter the market, because as it is, the probability of a winning trade is roughly, 36% on Bitcoin. Well, let me just zoom out over here. That's probably only since 2024. And I'll just come back to 2020. And 43%, which is a really high percent profitable for a strategy like this momentum strategy that we trade. And well, that means that, all right, almost 6 out of every 10 trades I take are going to stop out as losses. And not only am I waiting for that next trade, then I'm waiting for roughly 40% of my trades to be profitable. And then I have to understand, well, my average trade is 2.5%. So patience is everything. And that is why today, ahead of time, from a position of power, I'm setting what the mindset shift needs to be in order for you to continue staying on top and conquering the markets. Tomorrow, we will not have a session. I cannot be here for the session unless there's an impromptu session at 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 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, an hour earlier than normal. And if it is, it'll only be a 30-minute session, a quick session just to touch base. But I'm not going to commit to that. I will do that, or there's a good chance I will do that. But just in case, I just want everyone to know that we're not like officially scheduling a session tomorrow. And if it will be one, it will be an hour earlier for a 30-minute session. So that's a good way to set us off over here. And in light of that, a light of not being here, I really think that you should invest the time watching these videos over here. I posted 3 videos, right? These videos I posted in psychology. They would fit really well into the nuggets sections and should be required watching. The first 2 is a trader's journeys, part 1 and 2. Charles Harris, who's a boom and bust type trader. He has had some immense periods of returns, much like the great Jesse Livermore was a boom and bust trader. Now, he didn't go on to make the type of money that Jesse did, but he did turn $3,500 and then eventually, you know, average buying $7,000. He did turn that into $10 million. That's pretty significant, pretty good run over there. And he's done it more than once. He's gone to bust and then started at nothing and grew it back up. And the lessons, the self-reflection, the psychological lessons that he offers are absolutely invaluable, which is why you should take a look at them. Now, and it's funny because he points to there's like 3 simple rules, and the rules. It's like, trade with the market, let your winners run, and cut your losers short, right? Sounds familiar, CTM. That is really the basis of our system, no doubt. One of the things that I think is really important to note here, though, is that that Charles, one of the things that really got into his head was the fact that he was paying 50% of his profits to the US government, and he did not sit well with him. He did not like that. And the third video is different. The third video is Superperformance with Mark Minervini and David Ryan. And the difference in so much is that Mark believes, by the way, it affected his trading style. And I've seen some of this happen, here around tax season. And he went from like being a swing trader. By the way, he had like in 1999 a one in his personal account a 1,000% gain, and then he was able in 2020 to have a 1,400% gain. Most of his gains, well, you'll see when you watch the video, it's really important to watch the whole videos, both of them. But he changed his style because he didn't want to pay taxes. And then, like, instead of, average hold during both those periods of 9 days, he tried to become like a position trader and got wiped out because of it. Where the difference is Mark Minervini is like, no, no, no. You should trade, often. You should be timing the market and you should be happy to pay taxes. The more money you make, the more taxes you pay, but the point is that with the type of returns that you're looking to put up after taxes, it still makes more sense. I think those are both of all three of those videos are immense. And then I saw that this clip and this video here were included. So I'm interested in that, and the constant guidance to stay on the right side, and that the coaching, the mentoring is immense. As you know, those who are able to invest their time, whether it's live or on the replay, it makes all the difference in the world. All right, so we got Ethereum here also with an immense trade, an immense exit, and I think at a great time. And speaking of that coaching, when we were in drawdown and people were like probably fatigued, could you imagine going through running sideways from April 2023 all the way through the end of the year into October, putting on a trade that takes you to new all-time highs, and then go back into the largest drawdown, running sideways again. And since the 2020 halving, it's for a lot of people like, Ethereum it's broken. Ethereum's like, it's not doing anything, poking it with a stick. And we pointed out and talked about why the system is not broken because of the series of losses, why this historic low volatility on Ethereum, and how well it is held up during the tightening cycle will likely lead to expansion. And when it does, we'll be there to capture it. And then, sure enough, one trade away, next trade putting in a 50% gain. 2023 was such a difficult year, an incredibly difficult year, because we were trading at historic low volatility. That's changing. Volatility, it continues to rise, and that likely continues. Now, it doesn't mean that this period that we've been in is going to continue. And there's nothing to suggest thus far that it's over. We have the halving 30 days away. I thought it was 30 yesterday as well. We have the launch phase over here above the 0.786 retracement fib, and that is not invalidated thus far. We have our first potential invalidation if we were to break that line. Then we have above the yellow line, right? And then our second invalidation. By the way, this is such a good line over here for the structure that we're currently in. And I'm going to go ahead and you could see, look at that resistance, resistance. That potentially could provide support. I wonder, let me try to zoom out a little. Look where we are right now. Do you see that where it's coming off of all the way into July 2022, and then the two areas? So you could see that this line that we're looking at is of significant resistance, which means that the next resistance could be up over here and then into there as well. But that, I digress. That's not really what I wanted to look at and what I wanted to do. And just from all these looks, you could see what a clear structure of the market that we are in right now. And that is why we have it off the last. That is not the invalidation. The invalidation of the bull market is a little bit different. And just to jump over here and come to a higher time frame, and it's that bolded green line over there. And this is also the structure of the market. So it's like structures within structures within structures. And that's what it is. But you could see that this little area that we've been in most recently has a different structure. And you could see from what I just showed you that that's clearly the structure of the market, as well as this greater structure. I say greater because it has over here coming back to the March into April high, then in the October to November high, and then over here off the November into December low, and then throughout. So, and going back a long time, by the way, like this thing goes back since 2013. And yes, I could fill it in here as well, but that's not necessary and whatnot. So I digress. And where we are. By the way, ahead of the Fed, we're looking at market pricing in roughly 36% chance there's a pause into June. So obviously, not only Powell today, but then the CPI and jobs number coming throughout the rest of the month and April specifically, as we have over here. Well, we looked yesterday when to do it. Will continue, but market thus far is pricing in June as the first cut, and we'll see what the Fed sets up today. Powell said summer. Let's see if he changes his tune. One thing that I think was of note. Well, I'm not going to get into that today. Dollar right off into that resistance, finding a top. Again, it's just the situation we're in, dependent on the planners about what happens next. And Nasdaq continues. I mean, it's holding up for what is historically seasonalities point to a tough period. Continues to hold up extremely well. We will see if the Fed signals that, it's actually going to be 2 cuts and this is going to be a little higher for longer. Whether or not that changes the dynamic that we're currently in, or the market, we'll find out. But it is notable the strength here that continues, even though not only has NASDAQ and Bitcoin and crypto at the same time enter into this minor correction. But you know what? You never know when that small pullback will lead to a bigger thing. Aldo, did we do that already? I think I pointed to the channel, but by the way, before just checking in on the daily and watching what a gem being on the sidelines over here. FNGU kicking back up. Someone watching that on the daily time frame, entering the market here ahead of the Fed. Look at that nice consolidation thus far, right? And waiting for the signal on the sidelines. And then NVIDIA here, still holding on to that beast of a trade and getting closer to locking in some sizable profit. I want to go back and just make sure we have those videos up for everyone, and make sure. Aldo, I'm not sure if maybe I should post them into the description here. I could do that right after. That would be easier for people. I'll post them. I'll copy and paste this into the description. But these videos are immense, all of them, all 3 of them, and that's where you should focus your attention right now. I think that immense lessons to be learned in there, and everything obviously will just help you solidify what it is here that we're doing. Which is amazing. So above 80, we've had the breakout and coming in for a retest right now. Yeah, I mean, until we get, like, if we lose this first line over here, that would be a sign that this breakout is failing. And then if we break down from this one, then it's on for probably a much test lower. But right now, and seasonalities continue right now to point towards favorably towards oil. And we'll see what the dollar does, right? I mean, it gets bad for the markets if you were to see a strengthening oil price, a strengthening dollar, and to be seeing yields selling off. That's not what we have today. We have oil down, we have bonds bid, and dollar is pretty much unchanged. But yeah, there's nothing really to observe over here. And I think that's where we are. So gold likely, if the Fed were to signal 2 cuts instead of 3, that might put a little bit of a dent into gold's beautiful breakout over here. I don't know how I could, let me see if I could do this. didn't get the top. Got it off the bottom here though. You see how you see how the structure works? Yeah, that could put, if the Fed were to signal that we were looking at, 2 cuts instead of 3, that might put uh, you know, gold under a little bit of pressure over here. But it's kind of where we are. March 20th, 2000, the market high in the QQQ. What a time to be live. Wow. Is today really the first day of spring? One of my daughters this morning was like, yeah, like something about, I was like, wow, we had like such a winter storm last week, and spring's going to be here soon. And she's like, yeah, it starts today. I had no idea though. Ah, perfect. Thank you for just clearing that. And it's a good reminder here to get those to the description. They're valuable, highly valuable resources that really highly encourage everyone here to watch. So, everyone, have a beautiful day. Remember, tomorrow officially no session. If there is one, it's going to be like this one, about 30 minutes, and it's going to be a hour earlier outside of our normal time. So, all right, let's see what happens as Jerome takes the mic in just a little while. Have a beautiful day, everyone. God bless you. Great session. I'll speak to you soon.